You guys wanted it. You guys got it. Basketball talk today. There's the Catfish. We've gone and pulled him out of the lake, and we're going to sit here and talk about the most dramatic, electrifying, just a special win for Alabama. Yep. Beating number 1 Auburn down there on a buzzer beater, sending all those Boogs home, crying, and I loved every minute of it. Roll Tide, everybody. Let's get the show started. I think it's time. We haven't seen. Where have you been? All right, there he is, the Catfish himself, Mr. Chad Anderson. I'm Mick Gillespie. Welcome to Catfish Courtside. And, man, I'll tell you what, that was first off, this show's been rolling since the beginning of basketball season. Now, he went on a cruise and then took a vacation. I was supposed to man the fort. Didn't do a very good job of that. We kept losing. But we're back.
All right, so let's be honest here, okay? Just real quick, 30-second soapbox. Like, you got called out this morning about not doing a show. And like, bitch, we've been doing shows. Like, we've been doing shows every time, man. Like bracketology shows, basketball shows. Yeah. The fair weatherness, it feels like. But no, I mean, this team deserves a show after yesterday. Yeah. And so, I mean, life got in the way, schedules got in the way. I think we can all just agree that we were pissed off after the Missouri loss and the Florida loss.
The Tennessee loss was the one that made me the maddest. Well, besides watching them against Ole Miss.
The thing with Tennessee was that Alabama was the better team and outplayed Tennessee all day.
Yep.
Alabama just had brain fart, coaching mistakes, player mistakes down the stretch. That's all that was. The effort was there. Like, they should have won the game. Florida, what bothered me was just lack of effort, lack of hustle. Like, Florida wanted the game more.
Right.
And that's what bothered me, But we knew it was going to be a gauntlet, Mick. When the schedule, we first started doing shows in November. I mean, we knew it was going to be bad, this final 7. And it lived up to expectations. Bama went 3-4. Probably should have gone 4-3, maybe even 5-2. But hey, the way it capped off yesterday, that was something.
It really was. Janai Broome ended up with 34 points for Auburn, but Bama had a more balanced approach, right? Grant Nelson had a big game. Did you like it when he did the Miyagi on him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no, Bruce Pearl tried to throw Miyagi out there.
Yeah, I know. It was funny. Somebody said Pearl was saying that was theirs. Like, when he was arguing with the officials, he was mad it was a taunt, but then was saying, like, that's ours. And I don't know if he did or not, so I don't want to jump to that conclusion. But one, it's not yours, it's John Mechie's. Okay, that's whose it is. He started all that.
Yeah.
Number 2, Auburn did it after the game on Bama's center court in Tuscaloosa a few weeks ago. And Nelson didn't do it in Broome's face intentionally. I am convinced. I think Nelson said something to Cardwell, and then I think he turned around and popped it on him. But I don't think he expected Broome to necessarily be there. Like, I think he was just doing it, and Broome happened to be there. But I do think he said something to Cardwell after that dunk. But man, that was nasty.
Yeah. Nelson had a
March Nelson, man. March Nelson.
Maybe this is the start of it. 23 points. What do you have? 8 rebounds. a block.
he had 2 offensive rebounds, none bigger than that one. I think it was in overtime where he muscled with Cardwell, got it, and put it back in. He was fouled on that play as well. But that one was huge. That saved a possession, put points back on the board. That was massive.
They came out and played this. First off, Auburn didn't need this game for anything, but it's Alabama Auburn. And it was this year, these 2 games this year, magnitude wise, are the biggest in program history for both teams. I mean, Auburn's number 1, at one point we were number 1 too in the other poll. Lost, didn't play. Thought we played well in the game, good enough to win, except for the first few minutes of each half, and just didn't take care of business. And then this year is like, hey, you know what? The here we go again. The stakes are high. What can we do? And go out there and I played one of the best games of the season. I mean, it was, it came down the Sears buzzer beater, which you dream about. Think about your career now if you're Sears. Like, does that even make you more the best player Alabama's ever had?
I know it puts him up there. How about Alabama going in, getting outshot at the perimeter, but shooting better than Auburn overall? Over 50% shooting on the road. That. And Mick, what would you say if I told you that Alabama would have 3 starters in double figures, but one of them would not be Mark Sears?
Yeah.
Great,
But see,
right?
you can do things to help the team win, and it doesn't always necessarily mean you taking shots, like.
Right. Yeah. One
He
cool
played
thing
40
too,
minutes more than anybody else on the Alabama team.
he played 40 minutes. He only had 1 turnover the whole game, and that's been a little bit of a story with him, that trying to do too much, pushing a little too hard, pressing. He only had 1 turnover all of yesterday. And how about LeBaron Philon?
Yeah.
How many times he handled the ball and created yesterday? And he only had 1 turnover too. So when your guards, Philon and Sears, combined for only 2 of the team's 15 turnovers, that's a good sign. They're 15 is too many, but when they only have 2, that's a good thing.
Yeah, man. What Auburn? I like Bruce Pearl though. I like the pageantry.
I hate Steven. I hate Steven Pearl, but I love Bruce Pearl.
Nepotism.
Yeah. And I
Daddy leaves, I'm taking the job.
Yeah. Pretty much. I asked somebody yesterday, I said, who's more unlikable, Steven Pearl or Chad Baker-Mazara? And I asked 2 people that, and both of them said Mazara hands down, which what a little I don't even know. I can't even say it because I'll just be like in trouble. But,
Right.
You just want to call him all sorts of names because it was just like, what a punk move he's just that guy. He runs around. He's just like that class clown. He runs around like a little bully, picking on everybody. And he's the one that's, snapping towels in the locker room. He's that guy.
Yeah, right.
Right. And then he gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar with an elbow to Youngblood in the back of the head. And then he can't believe he's kicked out. And it's like, dude, that was so obvious. It was such an intentional act. Like there was an F2 all day. Somebody said it. I can't remember. I think it was Seth Greenberg on ESPN, and he's right. Remember last year against Yale in the first round of the tournament?
Mm-hmm.
He got ejected for an F2.
Yeah.
And
that was a killer too.
That they lost the game. They lost to Yale in the first round.
Great
point. He gets ejected yesterday. F2. I mean, I'm not trying to take away from Bama, but if Mazara gets ejected, does Bama win? Or if he doesn't get ejected, does Bama still win? You don't know, is my point. Quit. And if you're just saying like, oh yeah, we still win, like you can't say that. You can't say that. Like he's one of their better players. So he's hurting the team. Like he might have flashes of, oh, when he's on or when he does something, he can be a spark. But as much as he can be a spark and a catalyst, he can also be a detriment.
Yeah, right.
And he did it last year against Yale, did it yesterday against Alabama. And he's got to control himself because Auburn's going to obviously win their first game easily. They'll probably win their second game in the tournament real easily.
Yeah.
They'll go to the Sweet 16. And honestly, I don't know that anybody's going to give them much of a challenge until the Elite Eight. But when you get on center stage in those big stadiums, Elite Eight, Final Four, national title game, like if your emotions aren't in check, if you can't handle adversity, he's going to cost Auburn. Like he's really going to be one of the reasons they lose if they face some adversity. So he'll be interesting to watch in the tournament.
You're up there in Nashville. Will that mean could we expect Catfish courtside maybe for some of these contests?
I mean, we'll see. It's a pricey ticket, my man. It is.
I guess this year would be, right?
It's bad. Yeah. Well, I mean, your top 4 seeds are the top 6 teams in the country. So you got a problem right there. The other problem is Kentucky is not in the top 4. And the reason that's a problem is because they're going to grab all the tickets because that's just how their fan base is, like an Alabama football type setup. So they're going to grab, like they grab tickets either way. Well, Auburn fan base, they're going to travel because even though Auburn is 5 hours or so from Nashville, 5.5, a lot of Auburn fans don't live in Auburn. They live in Huntsville. They live in Birmingham. They live kind of all over, right? So that's only a 2 to 3 hour drive, depending on where you are. So short drive for Auburn, short drive for Alabama, short drive for Tennessee. Those fans are here in Nashville already, or over at Knoxville is only 2.5 hours. That's not far at all. Florida is the only top team that fans would have to travel, and maybe they don't because they wait for the NCAA tournament or something. Although Nashville is such, a fun town. People love the weekend trip up here. But with those 4 teams in the double bye plus Kentucky, and what I mean is those 4 teams in the double bye all being close except Florida. So it's going to be a really difficult ticket, but it's also going to create an amazing atmosphere. Bridgestone Arena is going to be lit starting I would say starting Thursday night, because that's when Kentucky plays. Their first game is Thursday night. So from Thursday at the second session, which is 6 Central, through Sunday, it's going to be crazy. And how about Bama gets the Kentucky draw?
You not think that's good?
Well, I just saying, like, look, Ole Miss, A&M, Missouri, and Kentucky are all very good opponents that could beat Alabama. None of those are cakewalks into the semifinals, but it's just you're playing the name on the jersey at that point. You've beaten them twice, but they were unhealthy the second time you played them. And just beating Kentucky 3 times in a season is extremely difficult. You've already beaten them twice. You got to beat them a third time. I mean, unless there's an upset. You got to beat them a third time to then have the reward of going to play Florida in a rematch. Man, it's a gauntlet. It is tough in that SEC tournament this year.
And the good thing, though, I'll tell you this, the good thing is that we got basketball now. When this tournament starts, this thing starts right here. We got hoops, man, every single day, like all day long, man, starting, Wednesday. And then that goes right into the NCAA tournament, Selection Sunday, which, by the way, we're going to be here on Selection Sunday to do a show. Catfish, hopefully you can be part of that.
Man, we'll be ready.
We'll be on there. Yeah, drop the bracket. We're going to I'm doing that from Pearl River. It's going to be a lot of fun, though, man, because you've followed this thing the whole time. And by the way, that's Bama playing Friday. So mark that
at 9 p.m.
At 9 p.m. on Friday.
Mick, you're going to have to take a nap.
Right?
You're going to have to take a nap, Mick. That's a late night game. I probably will not be in attendance Friday night. But if Alabama wins, then I will be there Saturday for the semifinal. That'll be a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah. So that's what makes this really exciting, man. And the selection show is going to be great. And you've been following that since the beginning.
Yeah, selection show will be awesome. The other great thing is that not the SEC tournament starts Wednesday. But if you're a hoops fan, basketball tournaments start Tuesday. It's like the ACC, I believe, is on Tuesday. The Big 12 is on Tuesday. They finish a day early. The Big 10 and the SEC, they do the Wednesday to Sunday. But I believe the Big East, the ACC, and the Big 12, I think, are all Tuesday. So starting Tuesday, Mick, you got games
galore.
Everywhere. And then on Wednesday, it multiplies. And then as you get down to the final, the quarters, really the semis and the finals, it becomes a really, really fun weekend. I enjoy conference week just as much as, that first week of the NCAAs, because it's so crazy. Teams fighting for their life, trying to get into the tournament. That's the only way in. So then you take, like you said, Sunday it finishes. You take Monday off. Tuesday, you got the first 4. Wednesday, you got the first 4. Thursday, you got it from 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m.
Beautiful.
And it's great, man. The next 3 weeks of March are so good.
Yeah, our buddy Bo Bounds is going to be with me in Mississippi. He's a broadcaster from Mississippi, loves hoops. I mean, you just get on here. The three of us talk basketball, start to fill out the bracket. What's Bama looking at? You've been saying since the beginning that a number one seed doesn't necessarily mean a good thing if you're an Alabama team. You might be better off being a number two, just depending on the region and the matchup.
Well, like, here's the problem. Bama's actually in that weird spot because right now Alabama is the top 2 seed, meaning they are the 5th overall seed in the tournament, which is the number 1-2 seed. Well, the beauty of that is Bama could end up going to Raleigh or to Lexington, playing in the first and second rounds. But then you end up in probably the Midwest bracket in Indianapolis, and you're going to play Houston as the 1 seed. If Alabama performs well, they could jump into the 1 line if they perform well in the SEC tournament. For example, they beat Kentucky and then beat Florida and go to the championship, win the championship. Winning it puts them on the 1 line guaranteed. Beating Kentucky, beating Florida probably puts them on the 1 line. But would you rather be a 1 seed, Mick, out in San Francisco? Or would you rather be a 2 seed in Indianapolis? And see, I would rather, in my opinion, I would rather be the 2 seed, stay closer to home, Indianapolis, kind of like last year. You know, I still think it was an advantage for Bama to go to Los Angeles because North Carolina was the 1 seed. Well, that's a cross-country trip for the 1 seed fans. Arizona was the 2 seed. Arizona was only 1 state over, but they got beat in the second round. Or maybe it was the semis against Clemson, I believe it was.
Right.
Yeah, so
we didn't have to tangle with them, though.
Right, that's what I mean. So, like, Bama got lucky. They basically played in a half-empty arena. I wasn't there. I'm just kind of assuming because
I get it. Yeah,
fans,
but no real alliance.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there was no, like, fan base. Now, for example, whoever's got to play Auburn in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 in Atlanta, it's an hour and 45 minutes from Auburn's campus. Like, that's going to be a home game for Auburn.
Yeah.
If you got to play
so you're saying Auburn's the number 1 overall?
Auburn's number 1 overall. Yeah. Even if they lose in the first round.
You beat them, you got to play a hell of a game. They didn't have an Ole Miss game in there. They didn't have a Tennessee game. Bama beat them and Florida beat them and Duke beat them. I watched all 3 of those games. They're a solid team, man. They really, besides some of the cheap stuff, but they're a fighting team. But Bama, when it does what it did yesterday, obviously can beat them there, can beat anybody. But they're better on the road, Chad. I think that's what's going to help Alabama.
Nate Oates has said that. He said Alabama actually enjoys going on the road. They enjoy the villain mentality. They kind of embrace it. It's Oates has brought that up. That's how Alabama football's defense used to be back in the day. They enjoyed road games because they love going in there and being the bad guy. Embrace it. Cool. And this team is, like, they're not cocky, but they are competitive and self-confident enough that those fans and that atmosphere and everything, it doesn't bother them at all.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, it's a hell of a win. Hell of a win. Roll Tide. If people want to win, though, with their mortgages, I know just the guy for it.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, scan the QR code. Rates have been trickling down, Mick. I don't know how much you watch it, but they've been trickling down here and there. Spring season is upon us. We've been incredibly busy. We helped 10 families last month. Going to help another, I don't know, I think it's 18 to 20 over the next 6 weeks. Whether it's HELOCs, debt consolidation, buying homes, people are still, taking on the challenge right now of the higher rates, but it's because they know rates are trending down. So they're trying to grab something before the rush starts. So anyway, scan the QR code, hit me up there, text, email, chadwickanderson.com. And appreciate it. We've had some amazing success stories, so would love to help out.
All right, man. Yeah, thank you so much, man. Always great to see you. And back from a long vacation, and that's a good thing. So you're refreshed and ready for the Bama basketball stretch.
Got the whiskers cleaned. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Looking good, looking refreshed. Got those batteries recharged. Hey, what I want to tell you guys is that New Life Art right now, we're doing a deal with them, the Roll Eagles Roll team, right? We've got not 1, but 2 of Bama's heroes from the Super Bowl. And when I tell you that, that these guys are special. I mean it, man. And you're talking about a guy named Jalen Hurts, and you're talking about a guy named Devontae Smith. There it is right there. Promo code Bama Tailgate, 25% off. Pimp the man cave out. Catfish has done that. I've done that. You're talking about Crimson Redemption. That is a game where Jalen Hurts, who just won a Super Bowl, beat Georgia to put Alabama in the college football playoff. And then there's Devontae Smith en route to Bama's 18th national championship, high pointing that ball, winning their 4th Heisman Trophy. 25% off Bama Tailgate when you get to the checkout. Now, another thing I want to tell you guys before I talk about our great friends at Pearl River Resort is that we are giving away comments. Even if I don't like the comment, that still might make you a winner. The fact that you're taking the time to comment, be a subscriber to the channel. I've got a pile full of New Life Art, Nick Saban 2025 calendars. I got to get those out to you guys. And then an order of Bama Tailgate Show hats. These aren't the cheap hats. These were I wanted you guys to wear it. I said, look, I'm going to pay for this. I want the people to wear the hat. So you got to comment. We're going to pick them out randomly, but comments, subscribe, make sure you're a subscriber, and we'll just do that. That's how we're going to start. We'll have other contests down the line, but we're going to start picking people out tomorrow and sending out those calendars and those hats, just depending on what day and what we got. So with that said, Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. We will be there next Sunday for Selection Sunday. Bo Bounds, Mr. Catfish will be on video. I'll be there in person with Bo. We'll be hanging out at the Timeout Sports Lounge. So as soon as you see the bracket, you're there with us. You can walk over, throw some cash down on Bama to run the table. Maybe you think Auburn's going to win it. Maybe you think Kentucky's going to be a dark horse this year. All that at the Timeout Sports Lounge, hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours and change from Birmingham and surrounding points. Hey, come hang out. Be a part of what we're doing. The Silver Star, Golden Moon Casino, slots, table games. You got Dancing Rabbit, the Augusta you can play, the Azaleas, the Oaks, the Steakhouse, Philip M. Steakhouse, Mom and Them's Restaurant, all that for you over at Pearl River Resort. Cat, great hanging out, man. Roll Tide, my friend.
Roll Tide.
To Pearl River Resort.